Yeah, I think we're going to throw this one back. Oh, no. Nice. Greetings, everyone. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you are here today. We are trying to get a little more use out of your Bonecrusher Giants. That's right. It's a good card. But there are also a few other cards that have recently hit the client that have made a deck from the past a little better, and I think it might be worth exploring again. Notably, we're on Menace Tribal. Folks, we played this a while back. The key card in the deck is Labyrinth Raptor. 2 mana, 2/2 Menace. Acceptable stats already. Whenever a creature you control with Menace becomes blocked, defending player sacrifices a creature blocking it. Alright, yeah. And then 2 mana, a red and a black. Creatures you control with Menace get +1/+0 until the end of turn. So the entire board basically gets Menace. Or is going to have Menace, so they're all going to get +1/+0. And of course, again, that can be done multiple times, right? So we've played around with that before, and honestly, it did fine then. But out of the most recent set, we got Kessig Wolfrider, which is a really, really sweet card. 1 mana, 1/2 Menace. This is not really exciting, but it blocks 1/1s from like mono red and things, you know. But notably, again, is Menace. That's good. But it also gives us a later game, like kind of post-board sweep recovery plan or something like that, right? Where if we're trying to not overcommit to the board because they might have a Day of Judgment or Wrath God or something, you know, holding Kessig Wolfrider allows us to get it out of the battlefield, post-board sweep, and then exile some cards from the bin that we were with we were holding on to with Kessig Wolfrider here, and turn that into an aggressive creature, a 3/2, right? So I'm interested to see how this influences how the deck plays. Another card that has come about on the client anyway, it's actually kind of been around for a while, but it hit the client since we played this deck last, is Insolent Neonate, a 1/1 for 1 Menace. Discard a card, sacrifice Insolent Neonate, draw a card. So this has been used in things like Modern Dredge and stuff, just to get the ball rolling on getting cards into the bin and all that kind of stuff, right? It's not what we're using it here for. It's just another relatively aggressive 1-drop that has Menace. You know, it's something that we can just get out of the board early and hopefully be attacking with. And again, Menace does mean it's going to hit several times, or should hit several times. So specifically with things like Labyrinth Raptor, being able to give our entire team +1/+0 means we want to go as wide as possible, right? It's also relevant that Insolent Neonate in, you know, later on, again, in a board sweep situation or something, can help us discard a land, and sacrifice it. It was going to be dying anyway. Just, you know, helping us to advance our board, right? Dreadmalkin. Another one of our 1-drops, 1/1 Menace. Pay 3, sacrifice another creature or planeswalker, put 2 1/1 counters on Dreadmalkin. So, this card is surprisingly good. Don't knock it till you tried it, sort of thing. But there are plenty of situations where, you know, our opponent has maybe 2 damage removal, but not 3. Being able to sacrifice things and put counters on even mid-combat and things can be potentially advantageous. It was definitely a card that was an exceptional card that I didn't expect to perform well, that played well the last time we were playing it. So it showed up again. Valentin, Dean of the Vein, has actually also shown up since the last time we played. So our 1-drop suite, quite a bit more robust than the last time we played. Valentin, 1/1 lifelink Menace. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. Now, admittedly, we don't expect the next thing to come up very often. We're very aggressive. We're not going to have a lot of extra mana, but when you do, pay 2. If you do, create a 1/1 green-black pest that has when this creature dies, you gain a life, right? So it can technically do more. A lot of the time, it's just a 1/1 Menace lifelink, right? As far as the rest of the deck, some Stormfist Crusaders. Everybody draws at the beginning of our turn. Notably, everybody loses life. So this is one of those things everybody likes to draw. So paying a life for a card is always a good deal. Only we make better use of our cards quickly than our opponent normally will. We're going to dump our hand very, 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 very fast, especially with as many 1-drops as we have. Our opponents won't always be able to do that, right? So they are more likely to allow this thing to survive, at least longer than they should, typically, and draw some cards, get a bunch of stuff onto the board, advance our position. Nullpriest of Oblivion, 2/1 lifelink menace. It also does have the late game potential of reanimating some stuff from our bin. We really do want our Labyrinth Raptor to do things, so getting it back again, not too bad. Glint-Sleeve Siphoner, 2-mana, 2/1 menace. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, get an energy. At the beginning of the upkeep, you may pay 2 energy. If you do draw a card, lose a life. So again, another way of filling our hand while being a relatively aggressive creature. Bonecrusher Giants, I'm sure you're familiar with. Sin Prodders. This is a complicated one. 3-mana, 3/2 menace. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library. Opponent may have you put that card into your graveyard. If that player does, Sin Prodder deals damage to that player equal to that card's mana cost. Otherwise, put that card into your hand. So, traditionally speaking, if it's a land, our opponent can put it in the bin for free. But they will, unless it's a land, it's 1, 2, or 3 damage our opponent can pay to just put that right into the bin. In fairness, a lot of the time, we want them to do that thing. So they won't be paying life. They'll be giving us cards. So it's another card advantage engine. Then one that might be a little bit of an outlier to most of you folks. 3-mana, 3/2 again. Enters the battlefield, put a menace counter on a non-human. Well, darn it, all of our stuff already has menace, so that doesn't really do much. But here's the key. 3-mana and tap Frillscare Mentor. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control with menace. So it gives us a way of growing our team, particularly in the late game. Try to close games out with it and stuff. Just 2... we'll see how it goes. We didn't have this last time, but, you know, we're trying it out this time. Blackbloom Rogue is a way for us to ban our lands. We're on 20 lands that are regular, you know, a couple of Hive the Eye Tyrant, which does, you know, have Menace. And some Den of the Bugbear because it helps us go wide. Not Menace, but, you know, going wide is nice. And then the Blackbloom Rogue is our 21st and 22nd land, but it's also a 2/3 Menace, which is fine on a land, but can be a 5/3 Menace if our opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard. So there are plenty of graveyard decks that are using Faithless Lootings and that sort of thing to get cards in their graveyard. Arclight Phoenix decks, just reanimate style decks and stuff. Blackbloom Rogue can, you know, be a surprisingly aggressive creature, depending on the situation. I was unsure about whether or not to have more of these. So we'll see how it performs, and we'll get back to you. That said, let's go play some games and see how it actually does, right? Alright, folks, here we are up against Claronimus. Good luck, Claronimus. This is just about the most awkward hand I could have drawn up. But, you know, yeah, I think we're going to throw this one back. Oh, no. Nice. Going over that button to go to the mulligan side, and I definitely hit the keep. So that's, I guess that means we're going to keep it. A sign from the cosmos. We are going to go ahead and stomp this, I guess, though, you know. Try and do the best we can with what we have, sort of thing. And we don't want them being able to get value, you know, with the surveilling. So I guess we're going to kill that too. Might's well. You know, if you have a bunch of control, you might as well wield it, I suppose. Opponent on a spells mainly deck with a pair of creatures to begin with. Fires off steam vents. Alright. Well, we're kind of expecting our opponent to have some damage-based removal. So we're going to get down a Bonecrusher Giant and a Kessig Wolfrider. Of course, Kessig Wolfrider being... wow, okay. Just a 1/2 menace. But the important thing here is that if they wanted to target the Bonecrusher Giant, they would have to take some damage or whatever, right? So we kind of expected them to... They were going to bounce the creature was going to cause them the most damage. I wonder if that means they're intending to remove Bonecrusher Giant. We'll find out. Alright, instant sorcery creature. No land. So no... No delirium yet. And boy, oh boy, that is something, isn't it? Well, let's go ahead and attack. And... yeah, you know what? Let's Valentin and Bonecrusher Giant, folks. Because now any creatures that they have that die get exiled, right? The lifelink is nice as well. I think that it would be very easy to overlook the lifelink here. But since our opponent is wanting to just kind of kill us very, very quickly, every point of damage we can do will make things more difficult on our opponent. So they do finally get Arclight Phoenix into the bin. This looks like they're going to... yeah... scoop them up! Well, folks, you know how I originally intended to mulligan this hand? It was... I elected not to because I had a premonition about how we would really like all these Bonecrusher Giants, so... well done, opponent, well done, and good game to us, too. That was good. GG, opponent, GG. Alright, folks, we're up against Narbenjack. Good luck, Narbenjack. And, alright. Interesting. Still not sure about these Frillscare Mentors. And the fact that we have two of them is not ideal. But, whatever. We're going to keep it for now. Den of the Bugbear. Insolent Neonate. Pass the turn. We would like a 2-drop. Or for the deck to, or the game to screw up and give us 2 cards that are both 1-drops. That would also be fine. No? Alright, well, fine. Well, I guess Kessig Wolfrider, come on down. Swamp, come on down. Insolent Neonate, go ahead and attack. Pass the turn. Alright. Well, Narbenjack, your go goes ahead and faithlessly loots after a Steam Vent's tapped. Interesting. Wow, 2 Arclight Phoenixes straight to the bin. That is terrifying. Alright, well, Glint-Sleeve Siphoner was exactly what we wanted last turn. We got the Kessig Wolfrider instead, which is not particularly ideal. I think we're going to go ahead and go with the Mentor here. Being able to grow our entire team is potentially something we want to be doing. It's also the same amount of damage as the Sin Prodder outside of its activated ability. And if they have removal, they'll almost certainly point it at the Mentor in this case. So, you know. Okay, Dreadhorde Arcanist. That's scary. Fine. Well, let's see. I guess land combat. Let's just go ahead and get in with these, shall we? We'll see how this pans out. Yep. Opponent does not choose to trade, or just chump the Frillscare Mentor, which is not overly surprising. That is kind of the expected outcome. Sin Prodder, come on down. And we're going to pass the turn. Otherworldly Gaze for our opponent. 1 mana. Going to pop some things over into the bin. It's some lands and an Inquisition. Opponent on 12 life is getting pretty low here. No question about it. In this case, the Frillscare Mentor might, you know, pay off a little bit. All of these creatures having Mentor, it will now do as much damage. Oh, crud. Finale, I promise. That's scary. Faithless Looting and Otherworldly Gaze. Really hoping they don't find more Phoenixes. They already have 2 in the top 15, so they're already lucky. They don't need a 3rd. That would be quite lucky, and we don't want our opponent to be quite lucky. We would prefer them to be unlucky, actually, if given the choice. Opponent does not find one in the initial couple of cards going to the bin. Faithless Looting doing its thing. They do find another Arclight Phoenix. No. Come on, man. All right. Opponent gets in with 2 Arclight Phoenixes. Or foray. Or whatever. All right. Our Sin Prodder reveals the swamp. And our opponent can choose to pay life. They're reading the card very carefully. They do that thing, and it goes away. So let's see. Alright, so they can block 3 damage. Or if we activate Den of the Bugbear, they can block 6. But that would be 3, 4, 5. Okay, I think this is fine. And we're gonna get in. Opponent blocks. No, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense either. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Yes. These things are reasonable. Can you kill this opponent? That's the question we're asking right now. Can you kill us? Alright. Opponent doing some awfully hard thinking over there. They go to combat and attack. Inquisition of Kozilek comes out of the bin. Sure, you can take what you want. Okay, they take the other Mentor out of our hand. They've got to handle the Sin Prodder, then, it seems like. We drop to 7. Can you do that, opponent? Oh my goodness, they can do it all. I think we would rather have the Glint-Sleeve Siphoner than a random card off the top. Alright, well. Let's see if they have the removal spell. They don't! Holy crud, folks. That was a good one. Having both of the Mentors in our hand was a little questionable, but, you know, whatever. It worked out. So, GG. GG. Alright, folks. Here we are up against Cherry Beefcake. Good luck, Cherry Beefcake. Yeah. This looks like a good hand. Finally have a Labyrinth Raptor. This is one of the best cards in our deck, and we haven't been seeing it, but we have one now. We have one now. Alright. Okay, folks, here we go. Cherry Beefcake leads on a Savai Triumph. We draw into Dreadmalkin, eh? Well, I think we're just going to go ahead and start on the Valentin. Our opponent leading on Savai Triumph leads us to believe it's probably some kind of reanimate something. You know, like, yeah, Gifts Ungiven and possibly cast spells from the bin sort of thing, you know? But we'll find out. Oh, crud. There it is. It's true. Well, this is inconvenient. Alright. Stormfist Crusader, come down. Valentin, go in. Folks, we're not expecting to survive here, but we're going to give it our best go. Opponent has the land. Yeah, a thrilling discovery as well. It is very unlikely they aren't able to get an Unburial Rates. Whoa, they elect not to discard. That is wild to me. Not 8 or more cards in their graveyard yet. The game might hinge on this decision, folks. They're unlikely to do any blocking over there. Alright, you know, let's just go with the old 2-spell approach. Getting more things onto the board tends to be good. If they can get back, or if they can get a, like, Elishnorn onto the board, we're pretty dead. But they don't have an Elishnorn in the bin yet. Right? Alright, Mizzix's Mastery, sure. Well, this does not bode well for us, folks. Alright. Okay, well. They can absolutely have the Scholar of Lost Troves. Because there isn't really anything in the bin that's scary. They get the Alrund's Epiphany, which is, you know, quite bad. But, you know, it could be worse. I mean, I expect it to get worse. I don't expect to survive this, but we're not dead yet, so let's hang on for dear life, so to speak, you know. EI Final Parting makes it to the bin. Well, that's not good news. Opponent faithfully loots again. Oh, crud. Ulamog makes it to the bin. Well, that's going to be coming back. And, I don't know that we're going to be able to beat an Ulamog, folks. I don't know that we're going to be able to beat an Ulamog. Alright. Yeah. It's like we're a prophet. And, sure. Life is lost. Card is drawn. Labyrinth Raptor. Combat. Okay. Opponent. Thinks about blocking. Can't block that way, opponent. Yes, okay. That doesn't work. That's not the way Menace works, opponent. Okay, yes. This is fine. I mean, we're not expecting them to sacrifice the Ulamog, but we're hoping they will. Okay, yeah, alright. They don't. Inconvenient, but acceptable. Then let's go ahead and get down a Nullpriest of Oblivion. And pray. Actually, no, that was wrong, wasn't it? It was supposed to be Dreadmalkin, because we're probably going to have to chump with this. You know, if they have any amount of, like, interaction or anything. Like, if they just attack right now, I'm not chumping, because we have a shot at winning. And we're gonna take our shot. We have very few chances of winning, you know? No. Okay, well, we no longer have a chance at winning. Up to 13. That's really stinking inconvenient, folks. Yeah. Okay, that attack, I was gonna say, that attack doesn't make any sense. This attack makes more sense. So we're gonna take this. Right on the noggin. Lose life, draw a card. Hey. That's interesting. We were really hoping we drew into another Labyrinth Raptor. That would have been awesome. It did not happen. Unfortunately. So, okay. Let's get in. When it blocks. Yep. Takes a fair amount. So we're going to Blackbloom Rogue and Dreadmalkin. And we've got a shot, folks. We've got a shot. We don't want to have to block with the Blackbloom Rogue, obviously. But that means they do need 2 removal spells in order to just kill us with their current board. And if they can't do that, then just like holding back to block doesn't do anything either, right? Because all of our stuff has menace. Oh, crud. If they get an untapped land, I mean, we'll block with the Dreadmalkin. Okay. Folks, I was really, really worried we were going to be dead there, but... Oh, no! Darn it, folks! Hey. Emergent Ultimatum. Goes to get several things. What's in the bin? Final parting. Yeah, we are not going to make it, folks. I don't think. All right. But we're gonna make them go through the motions here. Man, that was very, very close. Jeez. Yeah, gets to bounce a thing. Going to be our Blackbloom Rogue. Make a copy of the Scholar of the Lost Troves to be able to cast Sublime Epiphany again. Yeah. Man. Ag. Alright. Yeah. So close. So close. It's kind of sweet tech, though. The Glasspool Mimic there. Not one you see very often. But as you can see, folks, I mean, okay. I guess there's no reason to scoop just yet. We can kind of let... Oh, well, I was going to say, we can kind of let them have their fun, but there's really no way around this, so... I don't want to have to wait for them to resolve a Genesis Ultimatum, you know? But GG, opponent, GG. Okay, folks. Hey, we're on the play here. That's kind of good. We're up against Somber Shadow. Good luck, Somber Shadow. And yeah, you know, we'll keep this. This is a good hand. Have a 1-drop. We have a 2-drop. We have a 3-drop. You know? What more could you ask for, right? I mean, maybe quite a bit. We'll find out, but, you know. We'll see what our opponent's playing, you know? Start on a Swamp and a Dreadmalkin. Opponent goes with a tapped Overgrown Tomb. Sure. Well, Stormfist Crusader, come on down. We're going to go ahead and start drawing and losing. The problem is everybody's going to be drawing, so hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. Opponent Grizzly salvages. Oh, crud. And Ulamog into the bin. Well, that's terrifying. Hopefully they can't get that back too quickly. Alright, well, how about another Dreadmalkin? Another Stormfist Crusader. And we're going to get in for 3. Opponent drops to 15. We have a lot of damage coming through next turn, but is it going to be enough? I am not certain. Oh, crud. As a matter of fact, I'm relatively skeptical about whether or not it's going to be enough. We'll find out. Let's lose some life. Draw some cards. Yep. Alright, so let's see. Well, we're worried our opponent's got some kind of board sweeper or something, you know? So we've got to advance the board a little bit, otherwise our opponent can win. I guess we're going to go with the Frillscare Mentor, so that we can pump the team next turn. If they don't kill us. We're hoping to not die. And they don't have Reanimate in the bin yet. And Unburial Rites is the normal way of doing that thing. Alright, Priest of Fell Rites doesn't save them here. Stitcher Supplier, though, does help an awful lot. But I don't think it's enough. Unless they also have maybe Fatal Push or something. But Counters. Combat. Opponent can block a Stormfist Crusader. The fact that we have the Bonecrusher Giant now means we're pretty safe, I think. They can double block a Stormfist Crusader. Fatal push another Stormfist Crusader. Take 4. But then we could still Bonecrusher Giant. So it was okay. It was okay. GG, opponent. GG. All right, folks. We are back. We are back. And honestly, the games went great. We went 3-2 with it, which was a little bit of a disappointment. Both of the games we lost were pretty close. So that's kind of unfortunate. But then, you know, we did a really good job at winning there. Like the one game, we did have both Frillscare Mentors in our hand, and I wasn't that wound up being pretty awkward. And when you're in a slow deck, you can afford a little bit of an awkwardness because you have a really powerful late game. When you're on an aggressive deck, a little bit of awkwardness can cost you some games, you know? So, I don't know. You know, as far as things you might do, you might look here. We also had a game where it did help us win. It gave us more options for antheming the team like we wanted it to do. But I don't know. I think maybe one less Frillscare Mentor, one more Blackbloom Rogue might be where we would go. You might even cut this entirely for either some more 1-drop or, you know, more aggressive things like 1-drops and stuff, or maybe even just some burn. You know, a little reach never hurt anybody. I think our 2-drops are pretty good here. I don't think we want more. We're already on 16. So if you're going to cut these mentors, maybe, you know, you might go either more 3-drops or more 1-drops. It would really depend. That said, I think the deck did really well. We might end up playing it on stream. I think it was fun. I definitely think you can climb with this deck. Another thing you might consider is maybe a little more graveyard hate, potentially. I'm not sure where we would go for that, but unless we're on the play, we might struggle against the Unburial Rite style decks. So I'm not sure. But I can say I did have a blast. So as far as giving my stamp of approval, I would say, yeah, absolutely. I think this is a good deck, actually. And it does have quite a few rares in it. But if your pinch point is mythics, I've got good news. There are none, right? Just rares. It's also true that a number of these cards were cards that you may have just hanging out in your collection, right? The Bonecrusher Giants, the Labyrinth Raptors, potentially. But at least Stormfist Crusaders, Nullpriest of Oblivion, the Valentins were all really popular in their own standard environments at different points, right? So it wouldn't be surprising at all for you to have a whole chunk of these all just kind of hanging out. And then the remaining cards, though, there aren't that many rares, right? There's some Wolfriders, which did what we asked of them to do, and I think they were good. The Glint-Sleeve Siphoners, which admittedly came in a special set, so you probably have to get them. And then the Sin Prodders, which also came in a special set, so you'd have to get those as well. But then, you know, uncommons. These are commons and uncommons. For the record, the Insolent Neonate also did what we asked it to do. So if you didn't have the Kessig Wolfriders, you could easily go like this, maybe. And I think the deck would perform very, very close to the same. The extra point of toughness, I think, does matter enough that if you've got them, I think this is the better build. You know, just blocking 1 power attackers from mono red and stuff could really help us be able to win the game, even if we're on the draw, sort of thing, you know. That said, folks, I would say the deck performed very well, and I would encourage you to build it. So, without further ado, I'll catch you next time.